My name is Liz Reese. I work with ACIS Educational Travel. I've been with the organization for 13 years, and I have been working with our Academic Travel Advisor Network, which is a network of teachers and former ACIS group leaders who help mentor new teachers. With me tonight, I have our colleague, Karen Alexander, who works with courses for teachers in the University of the Pacific, and Karen also is an ACIS group leader. And also on the line we have Ariana Breckner, who is an international program consultant for ACIS. She will be answering your questions related to ACIS, so you can use the question tab to write your questions right there, and Ariana will answer them throughout the presentation. So tonight we're going to talk about how to earn graduate level credit with ACIS and the University of Pacific. Karen Alexander, who is with me, is now going to tell us a little bit about herself and how she got started and what she's doing, her role and her partnership with ACIS. Karen, I'm handing it over to you.
Okay, hi. Well, let's see, starting out. Way back when, I was a single parent for two amazing daughters. And in raising them myself, I had two full-time jobs as long as I can remember. So like all of you listening in, I was a dedicated teacher. And over a span of 34 years, I taught everything from special needs to K-12. But my true passion for teaching was teaching fine art. And so about 28 years ago, a long time ago, I wound up writing a book on how to teach fine art to K-12. And universities contacted me. They asked me to teach the program to teachers, and from there it just kind of snowballed. My classes boomed, and it was incredibly exciting for me as well as for the universities. And then University of the Pacific asked me to develop and manage their teacher education program. And I was so thrilled because it gave me the opportunity to do something special for fellow teachers. Because, oh my gosh, I remembered all the courses that I used to take for my own salary advancement. And teachers and we'd sit in the back room with dark glasses and we'd just pray for one new idea. And then we were also incredibly appalled with the lack of respect that was often directed toward teachers, because at these courses that we take, they'd actually require us to sign in to prove we returned after lunch or after dinner. And my gosh, you know, if you can't trust teachers, who can you trust? So I vowed that in developing the university program for teachers, we'd do four things. We would not waste teachers' time. We would allow teachers to choose what they wanted to work on, because who knows better what a teacher needs to improve his or her curriculum than the teacher herself. And we would not give we would give teachers credit for work that they've already done in the past. And lastly, we vowed that we would treat teachers with the professionalism and courtesy that they deserve. As for my connection with ACIS, I've traveled with them for about 15 years, so I know how fabulous ACIS tours are. And I also know how much work teachers put into planning a trip and adding it to their curriculum. So it's important to us to allow teachers to get credit for the time traveling with ACIS, as well as for all the work they do before and after a trip. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
That's great, Karen. Thank you so much. And, you know, we love having this partnership with you, and we're going to explore that tonight. Quickly, before we get started, we want to take a quick poll of our attendees and find out what people are hoping to gain from this webinar tonight. So we'll put the poll up right now. And we will give you one or 2 minutes to answer that poll question. So while that's up there, I'm just going to ask Karen about the next, about diving right into the whole gist of what we're getting to tonight. So we all know teachers need these credits, right, to renew their credentials and for salary advancement. Teachers can get them in a number of ways, like sitting in the back of a room with dark glasses on, right? but what are the benefits of getting these credits through the University of the Pacific?
Okay. Well, first of all, the greatest benefit would be service. Our staff understands and values the extra work that teachers do, so our service therefore reflects that great reverence to teachers. So with us, teachers could count on consistent, prompt, reliable service. For example, in terms of the service, just as soon as the teacher registers for credit, within just a day or two at most, they'll receive an email confirmation, and they will also receive their grade on university letterhead. So we're prompt in replying to emails daily, and we take great pride in providing the kind of service and courtesy that teachers deserve.
Excellent. So quickly, we're going to share the poll results. Oh, we already did? Oh, my goodness.
All of the above. Oh, my goodness.
All of the above. Everybody was interested in learning all of the above.
Well, good. I'll be glad to share as much information as I can.
That's the plan. All right. So how many hours of work does it take to earn a PDU with University of Pacific?
Okay. Well, for one graduate level credit, and then you have to be careful, I'll talk about the semantics later, but some states call them PDUs, some states call them continuing CEUs. There's so many different labels for it, but anyway, to earn a graduate level of credit, it requires 15 hours professional work. So 2 units would require 30 hours, 3 credits would require 45 hours, and most teachers, though, they take the courses for 3 units because they've already done so much work, and the process is really simple to follow in getting the credit for it.
Okay, great. So what counts toward earning these credits?
Okay, just about any professional work that enhances a teacher's knowledge, skills in teaching, classroom curriculum, or enhances classroom environment for years to come. So, and the work that counts doesn't even have to relate to travel. We want teachers to get credit for any work that they've done that fills these categories. For example, reading, researching, developing lesson plans, working on Common Core, adding technology to your curriculum, previewing videos, attending educational conferences, seminars, webinars, just like this one, and of course, educational travel with ACIS, the best.
Yes. It's easy to earn 45 hours on an ACIS trip.
Yeah, that's a done deal.
That's a done deal. All right, so what doesn't count? I think that's probably a question you get quite a bit.
Because so many, everything that teachers do is really important, but still we have to go with what the university deems important for this kind of program. So although it's important, you cannot count time with students in the classroom. You cannot count grading papers, attending parent conferences, or mandated school meetings. You cannot count laminating or making copies of documents, so we know these are all important things, but they just don't count for this program.
No, and unfortunately those are all the things you have to do next year again and and again. They
over
don't.
And over again. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's a repetitiveness to this. All right, so how do you, I think one question we've gotten a lot is, how do teachers know if their school, district, or state will accept the credits?
Okay. Well, first of all, it's really important that a teacher knows the policies of her own school district. And excuse me for saying her. It just seems like there are more women teachers than men often, but so I often say her. But you have to know the policies of your own school district because some school districts require prior approval. Some say not at all, just turn in the grade. So you need to know what your district requires. It's also important to understand the semantics regarding the terminology for graduate level credit, because this can be a little confusing because it differs among states. So some states call the graduate level credit credits, and some call them credit hours, and some call them units, and some call them unit hours. So there are differences in the labels. And then some states also label the graduate level credit needed for salary advancement as PDUs, which is professional development units. And those same states say CEUs, which are continuing education units, are lesser quality and they don't accept those. While other states say CEUs are the higher quality education credits and the PDUs are regarded as the undergraduate level ones. Regardless of the terminology, our courses are exactly what teachers need for salary advancement because we only offer graduate level credit. So it's just really important to know that and feel secure that what you're getting for us is exactly what you need, regardless of what terminology your state usually asks for in terms of a label. It's also important, I think, that a teacher understands the difference between graduate courses and graduate level courses. We do not offer the graduate courses for this program to teachers. Graduate courses are usually way more expensive, and they can be used towards attainment of an advanced degree, like a master's, for example. The courses we're offering you here are graduate level courses, which means that they're prestigious, but they cannot be used for attainment of a master's. If you wanted to go for a master's with a certain institution, you would have to get permission from that institution for them to okay these courses. And usually an institution wants you to take their courses for a master's. So these are strictly designed for salary advancement and to renew credentials.
Okay.
You know, a little confusing.
Yeah. Well, I know we've
that
been confused on it before. Yeah, it's good to have clarity. You'd mentioned that some districts require a course description. Is that something that you can provide?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Occasionally, a district says for prior approval, we want a course description. All a teacher needs to do is just email us, and we will get that course description to them. It's kind of a generic course description. They could certainly tweak it any way they wanted to make it more personal to them.
Great. So, you know, we're all about making things easier for teachers, as are you. So how does this registration process work?
Okay, yes, simple process, because we want that for teachers. They're already doing a ton of work, and we don't want to add to their stress. So after a tour, a webinar, a roundtable, or a reception is completed, teachers simply turn in their certificate from ACIS of participation, along with a registration form and payment. They can get the registration form from the ACIS website, or they can go directly to us at Courses for Teachers. Let's see, a one unit of credit requires 15 hours of work, 2 units would require 30, and therefore 3 units of credit would require 45 hours of work. So if they were to take a tour with ACIS, like you mentioned, that's a definite 45 hours. It's an automatic grade of A. It's, you know, they just register, turn in the certificate, done deal. If they fall short of the 45-hour requirement for 3 units and they want the 3 unit credits, then they can still register for the 3 units. They would just have to turn in a log of extra hours of work. So does that answer your question, I hope?
Yeah, that's great. So
okay.
Let's talk a little bit about how teachers log their hours. Oh, sorry, just to back up for 1 second, I just wanted to touch on the fact that our website and your website offer ways for teachers to find those 2 documents. They can download everything from our website and from coursesforteachers.net.
Right, you mean the certificates of participation?
No, I'm talking about the
registration forms.
The registration forms that were on the previous screen.
Right.
All right, so now I wanted to talk a little bit about how teachers actually log those extra hours. So we talked about an ACIS trip, but you know, the webinars, like this webinar, they'll receive a certificate for it, but how do they log that to you, and how does that work? So we have an example up on the screen, but I wanted you to talk a little bit about that.
Oh, your example's beautiful. This is perfect. It's all in note form. It would simply, the date, you know, like you have it on the left side, the activity, and the number of hours. And, you know, the date, we know teachers are often making up because you can't often remember. It's just a formality to put a date. We know it's not necessarily totally accurate. It'll just be, you know, close. But the activity should be most definitely what teachers say they did. And teachers have integrity, so with no doubt that would be the case. And so as far as logging goes, again, if they're on tour, they don't even have to log anything. If they take an ACIS trip, the activity log's not even needed. We know the quality of the trip. It's an automatic A. But let's say their hours fall short of the 45 hours that they need for 3 units of credit, and they want those 3 units. So let's see, let's do a scenario. Let's say their hours of ACIS activities total 35, and they just need another 10 hours, that's all, to equal the 45 needed. Then they would just create a log, just like what we see on the screen. They don't need to show proof of what they've done because the bulk of the hours are ACIS related. Another scenario might be, though, is let's say the only thing on their log is attended an ACIS webinar 1 hour, and that's all they have with ACIS. Well, in that case, and they want 3 units, then they would owe us 44 more hours. When the bulk of the hours are not ACIS related, then yes, the same idea. They have to show a log of all the things that they did. But then if the bulk of the hours are not ACIS related, they would have to show proof of what they've done. And proof can be shown in different ways. Some teachers, it's just a matter of writing a few sentences about the book they read. Or it might be sending in a photograph of the file system that they have beautifully organized or in color-coded or whatever. So it can be in the form of photographs, just written word, or a sample of a lesson plan, just the notes they took in developing a lesson plan.
That's great. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, no. You know what I just thought of, though, is I haven't gone over what counts on the log. So should probably go over that in terms of,
okay.
Oh, or maybe we did. You know what? I'm almost forgetting what we talked about. But samples of things like read, researched, toured, created, all of those activities count. Did we talk about that, Liz? I think so.
Yes, we did.
Okay.
Yeah, we did.
There we go. All right. Just want to cover my bases and make sure I give them all the information I possibly could.
So one question that we've had from people before is people who are interested in earning PDUs who've been traveling with us for a very long time. You know, they say, is past work applicable, like last year's trip? Would they be able to earn PDUs for last year's trip?
Absolutely. As long as ACIS can provide a certificate, it's totally fine with us because we want teachers getting credit for all the work they've done in the past. The only stipulation would be we will give them credit as long as they have not received credit for that activity from another university or from their district. You know, so yeah, that's it. Otherwise, absolutely, yes.
Great. All right, so let's talk about how teachers go about paying for these credits. What exactly is the payment process through you?
Well, again, we try to make it easy. So we accept Visa, MasterCard, American Express, and personal checks. So for the personal check, they would just make it payable to University of the Pacific. The cost, we have not raised our prices in, 14 years because we still want to do well by teachers. So it's only $93 per credit. So therefore, it would be $186 for 2 credits. And if they wanted the 3 units requiring the 45 hours of work, would be $279. And they just turn in their registration form along with the certificate. They can do it online or email it to us or by regular mail. It's fine.
Excellent. All right. So is there a maximum people can earn? I know that people earning 3 seems to be sort of the standard with you, but what is the maximum teachers can go for?
Okay. Teachers could register for no more than 18 semester units within a 4-month period. So that would be 6 3-unit courses in 4 months. It sounds like a lot, but oh my gosh, teachers do so much work. They probably do 45 hours just in 1 week, of after school on their own time. So it's not unusual for a teacher to register for 18 units at one time because they've already done all that work. If they do that, then they just have to wait 4 months, and then they could register for another 18 units after that.
Okay, that's great. All right, so one big thing we hear from teachers and I know that this won't come as a surprise to you, but this just sounds too simple. It sounds too easy. It sounds too good to be true. And I mean, I know that this is legitimate and that this is, we know that what teachers do is important and that their trips with us are important. But how do you respond to that? What is your answer to the simplicity of this process? I mean, it's wonderful.
I know. Thank you so much, because we pride ourselves in that. And yes, we often get the response, oh my gosh, this is too easy, or, can this really be true? It's too good to be true. And our response to that is, it's not too good to be true. It's just about time that you get credit for all the work that you've been doing. The process is simple, but there's nothing easy about all the work that teachers do. And most of the time, they do tons of work on their own time, and they figure it's just expected, or they don't give themselves credit in their own mind for all the extra work that they're doing. They just do it out of passion and dedication. So we want teachers to get credit for all this extra work. They should have been getting the credit for all this decades ago, but we're proud at least now to be offering it to them, and we hope the word will spread that the opportunity is available.
Well, thank you so much, Karen. We are so delighted.
You're welcome.
Yeah, we are just so happy to be partnered with you. We know the hard work that teachers put in every day, and when you add all the work that goes into a trip to that, it's so nice to know that it's not just the trip and the wonderful experiences that teachers get to be rewarded with, but that actually we can help with career advancement and professional development of our teachers, and that to us is very important. And having a partnership with you where you know what it means to be an ACIS group leader, and you are coming from, from the perspective of a teacher, we just love that we get to have this partnership with you, and I hope that so many more of our teachers take advantage of this wonderful opportunity.
Thank you, Liz. I feel the same way. The ACIS is fabulous, so we feel honored to be part of this partnership and to together be helping teachers to advance on the salary scale for the work they're already doing. That's great.
That's so great.
Yeah.
So we do have one question, and the question is, how quickly are the credits issued? How fast does what's the timeline for the process? Once someone does submit to you, how quickly will they hear back?
Okay, good question. Well, it depends, of course. If they're registering online, the confirmation is the same day. It's just very, very fast. If they're mailing their registration in, of course, you have to allow time for us to pick it up in the mail. But that would, I don't know what it would be. 2 days maybe at most for delivery. So as soon as we receive their registration, and our staff is really prompt, the teacher will receive a confirmation by email that we got their registration, and they will also receive their grade by email in the form of a letter on university letterhead. And some school districts actually accept that letter as instant credit. But there are some districts that require a formal transcript. Make teachers jump through a few more hoops. So if that's the case, the formal transcript takes longer. The wheels of the university and the registrar grind a little more slowly than our office. Our office is fast. But you have to allow about 6 to 8 weeks for everything to go through all the channels and for it to actually be in the registrar's system. and then you will get another grade from the registrar. So it's another copy of your grade, but this one's more. This is an unofficial, called unofficial grade report. That'll be in 6 to 8 weeks, and then you, with that same that grade, is a form to send away for a formal embossed sealed transcript in case the unofficial one isn't enough for your school district and you need the total official embossed sealed one.
Okay.
So that process takes a little bit longer. There are also ways, because we will jump through hoops to help teachers. So if there was a time where a teacher said, oh my gosh, this is an emergency, I need my transcript and I need it now, we will do our very best to help them out and expedite that whole process.
Great. So we have a couple more questions. Someone is asking, should their questions now be directed directly to you or to ACIS? Questions about the professional development units. And I would say, I know we would be happy to answer questions. What do you think, Karen? What's your take on this?
Well, I think it just depends on the nature of the question, and it's just like if I don't have an answer for something, I'll usually tell somebody I will get the answer and get back to you. So if they contacted ACIS, I guess you would just say that, or they're certainly always welcome to contact our office directly. Our website is www.courses4teachers.net. Our email is long, but it's easy to remember. It's courses4teachers at, and then it repeats itself, courses4teachers.net, N-E-T.
Great. Okay, so another question is about the past trips. How far back would you be willing to go? I mean, that's an interesting question because some of our teachers have traveled with us for quite some time, and obviously we have record of all those trips. But how far back is the University of Pacific willing to go granting credits for past work?
Again, if they have not received credit for that travel in any other way, we don't have a problem with that. And ACIS, I can't believe you have records for all past trips, but if you can give them the certificate, the date is not important to us. What's important is honoring teachers for the work they've done.
Excellent.
So
and what
it doesn't matter.
What about our global conferences as well? So our global conferences are earned by teachers for leading their student trips. But they are travel. Would those count as well? I mean, I would imagine that they would. And I would imagine that that would be another full 3 credits, correct?
Absolutely, because along with those global conferences, which I've had the pleasure of attending myself, it whets your appetite for more research and just so much more work in developing your travel with your students. So the work goes right with the global conference. It's a given. So 3 units, no problem.
Okay, great. Another quick question we had, someone was on the University of Pacific site and saw the name of someone. It was Professor Lifson. Is that the person they contact, or should they just contact you directly?
No, that's a different center. So for this particular program, they could only get the units through us because it's all our course numbers. I have great admiration for Alan Lifson. A wonderful man, but he has different courses and different programs that he offers. We each have different centers, so with different specialties. So this is my specialty in terms of honoring teachers for self-designed work and travel.
Excellent. Another question we just had from the audience was about getting those past certificates. Any certificates you're interested in receiving, you can contact your salesperson and we can get those to you. I think moving forward we probably will do more. For example, everyone who attended tonight is going to get via email tomorrow from your salesperson or the next day a certificate that you attended this webinar. And we are making it our policy to do that across the board now and really take advantage of this partnership to help you earn these credits and advance your career. and increase your salary, of course, right? So
Absolutely.
we are making it our policy to be more in line with after your trip, after you attend a webinar, after you attend a roundtable or a reception with ACIS or a presentation, that you will be receiving a certificate for those activities. Karen, another question is, what are the maximum credit hours you can earn for your ACIS trip?
Oh gosh, there is no maximum because the work that teachers do is ongoing and the work that they've done in the past is phenomenal. So it's just a matter of what you want to document. So you could take one course for 3 units, and on the registration form you'll actually see a choice of many different titles. And we have many titles so that teachers can do this many, many different times. So every time you register for a new 3 semester units, you just have to pick a different title. The title's not really important to us. It's just a way by which we file you for university credit. So you pick a title that you want on your transcript, what sounds good to you. We know teachers multitask, so no one title would ever fit what you do anyway. So if you did 45 hours of work in the past and you want credit for it, you pick one title, that's 3 units. If you did 90 hours, then pick 2 titles and register for 2 courses. And you can register for as many courses as you would like. The process is ongoing and it's open all year long. So
thank you.
Keep getting credit for all your extra work.
That's really great. That's great. All right, Karen, we are going to wrap things up. I just want to thank everyone for their participation and for all the great questions. Anyone if we did not get to your question tonight, we will answer you via email, or your salesperson will get in touch with you. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Karen. We love having this partnership with you. It's a great, great benefit to our group leaders, and I love that we can continue this partnership, and hopefully we'll get even more teachers earning credits at the University of Pacific and with courses for teachers. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us tonight. And we will be hosting another webinar in a couple of weeks. We'll be sending out invites as soon as everything is confirmed. Thank you so much.